Hello guys, gals, non-binary pals, and waterfowls. It's me, Big Mike, coming at you with some video game content. So today, fam, I want to discuss my experiences at the latest Steam Next Fest. Now, if you're not familiar with Steam Next Fest, so 3 times a year, if I'm not mistaken, Steam will hold an event for game developers to show off their upcoming games. Now, a game, based on my understanding, can only appear at one Steam Next Fest, and it's meant to happen right before or close to the launch of a game. So this is kind of like a proper send-off into proper publication for a game. So Steam Next Fest allows creators not only to showcase their demos for their upcoming games, they'll also have stuff like live streams, for example, in which they'll answer questions, interact with fans, or show off gameplay themselves. So with all of this in mind, I'm sure it takes no stretch of the imagination to see just the potential Steam Next Fest has in building up hype for a game. And this isn't something that's just taken advantage of by big AAA publishers, but many in the indie game community take advantage of this situation. And many of those are my friends. And so today I'm going to be looking at 4 games developed by friends of mine in the indie dev community. So before we start talking about the games, I want to point out a couple of things. First, as you may know, I'm affiliated with Poggers, the amazing popsicle flavored energy drink mix. Poggers is an awesome drink that's designed to keep you focused and going. It comes in 2 flavors, Pog Pop and Cream Dream. So if you're looking for that pick me up, be sure to give Poggers a go. And if you use the link below in the description and promo code DougDaddy, you can save 10% and help my channel grow. That's 2 ducks with 1 stone. Secondly, I play these games for a short period. So Steam Fest is full of games to check out. And so unfortunately, to try to experience the whole thing or as much as you can't really spend a lot of time with one particular game. So just kind of keep that in mind. And the last thing I want to point out here is that these are pre-release demos. So anything you see here may very well change in a future release. And with that out of the way, let's talk about some gaming, fam. So the first game I want to discuss here is Omega Warp by CN Games. The description from the game's Steam store reads, Omega Warp is a 2D single-player action-adventure that takes place aboard the ISE Horizon Prime interstellar freighter, orbiting the planet Talverg in the constellation HH Andromeda, serving as a base of operations for building an outpost. Play as Lana Winfort or Steen Redfire, belonging to the team sent to investigate the interstellar freight's loss of communication with the base of operations on Earth that occurred a year earlier. And please, CN Games, please forgive me for butchering those names, because I'm sure I probably mispronounced a lot there. That being said, this was actually a really great game, and I had a hard time putting it down to move on to the next one. So this game is a Metroidvania. Now, a Metroidvania is a game whose playstyle is similar to the classic Metroid games or the classic Castlevania games. And if you never played any of those games, a Metroidvania is simply just a platforming game that features a single large interconnected map, generally with discrete rooms or sections. And this game is definitely a Metroidvania. And actually, one of the things I really enjoyed about this was that as soon as the game started and I can actually start playing, my first instinct was to go right. Because, so many of the games I like playing, like Mario and Sonic, involve going right. But, in fact, that's not the case. You have to go left. But you don't know that until you try going right. And you're going to find yourself in similar situations throughout your play of this game. You're going to have to see which areas you can go to and which areas you cannot, or which areas you need to go to, but you're going to have to solve a puzzle, or you're going to have to do something beforehand to unlock that area. Now, speaking of puzzles, the puzzles aren't too difficult, but they are going to require some exploration, so you're going to have to go through the rooms and check out the data logs you're going to discover on the computer, and using that information, you're going to have to put 2 and 2 together on what to do. Those data logs not only help with the puzzles, but they also fill in the backstory as well, helping you to get a better idea of what's going on. Now, puzzles aren't going to be your only obstacles here. There are enemies, there are aliens, and they're not too difficult. In fact, I wouldn't say they're very difficult at all. They're very easy to get rid of. But the challenge is your gun. So you do have a gun and you do have infinite ammo, but it has to recharge itself. So you can't just shoot all the time because the battery is going to run down and you're going to have to wait for it to charge back up. Now, on the other hand, when you shoot your gun, the bullets don't go very far. They only go maybe half the screen, so you have to strategize how you're going to use your gun. And that, I believe, adds a great deal of depth to the game. So, now, I do like some games where you can just hold the button down and run and shoot, like Contra, for example. However, a game like this, where you have to think about pulling the trigger, adds a great deal of strategy to the mix. So I want to move on now and talk a bit about the aesthetics. Now, this is a very atmospheric game. As I was exploring these areas, I felt on edge as I went to every new room, feeling like something was going to jump out and attack me. And in a game like this is definitely a positive. And also, I want to touch on the design. So the cutscene or the opening scene at the beginning of the game is absolutely beautiful. Fantastically animated, fantastically designed, very beautiful to look at. Now, speaking of design, the main area of the game that you're exploring, the rooms, the ship itself, very well made, very beautifully done. And the animation of the main character you're playing is perfectly fantastic. In fact, I found myself many times being mesmerized just simply by how beautiful the walking animation was, how fluid it was. So major props to the design team behind this. And the last thing I want to talk about here is just the sound. The sound is pretty standard for a game like this. You know, it's ambient, it's there in the background, and it's not overpowering. Now, I know I said it's standard, but it's something that has to be done just right in a game like this in order to keep the feeling, you know, appropriate to the atmosphere. And those are pretty much all my faults on Omega Warp. So please give this demo a try and be sure to wishlist it on Steam. I know CN Games would really appreciate that. And be sure to give them a follow on Twitter as well. Now, the next game I want to talk about is Witch Guild Survivor by Sunshine Inc. The game's Steam store description reads, Witch Guild Survivor is a fun horde roguelike game where you play as a witch that must survive monsters by using your powerful spells. Collect white orbs and upgrade your magic spells. Choose a combination of various elements to generate synergies between them in each run. Now, one of the things I really love about this game is that it's chaotic. And I mean it as a compliment. So with a game like this, you know, just the very nature of it, it's going to be chaotic. So you're going to be surrounded by enemies. And sometimes it can feel a bit overwhelming. But, you know, that's just kind of the nature of these games. And just as that's the case, you know, you're often going to find yourself surrounded by enemies. Well, fortunately, fam, we got things that can help us out in that situation. So your character is equipped with 2 attacks, a standard attack and a special attack. So you're going to find yourself using those 2 attacks quite often. Now, when you kill enemies, they're going to drop orbs and you can pick them up. And once you get enough to level up, you can upgrade your skills. Now, you're not just going to be, you know, killing enemies here. At certain points in the game, you're going to be given challenges. Like, don't move for 15 seconds. Now, if you ever played a game like this, you'll know that's quite a challenge in and of itself. Also, you'll be given some other challenges, like, for example, destroy a pillar. And probably my personal favorite is destroy or kill 1 fake treasure chest. So let me explain a little bit. So here in this game, not only will you pick up orbs or items that the enemies you kill drop, you can also find some treasure chests filled with goodies. Now, some of those treasure chests aren't real treasure chests. And that's a little annoying, but in a good way. So you'll come across treasure chests that are really enemies in disguise. And some of the challenges is that you have to kill one. Now, in regard to design, I really dig the aesthetics here. Now, it looks to me as if it's inspired by Japanese fantasy, manga, or anime. Also, I really dig the music here. This is a game whose soundtrack I would listen to even if I wasn't playing the game. So this game is set to release February 16th, so it'll probably beat this video out. But be sure to check out the demo, wishlist it, and if you can, pick this game up. Also be sure to follow Sunshine Games or Witch Guild Survivor on Twitter. I know the developer would really appreciate that. Next up, we have Corp. Corp is a point-and-click game that follows Art. And Art is a young college graduate looking for his first serious job. And after a series of unsuccessful interviews, the Grim Reaper himself materializes in front of Art's eyes, and being impressed by the young man's skills, offer him a job as an intern at his own company, Corp. Now, first, I just want to talk a bit about the genre here. So Corp is a point-and-click game. The point-and-click genre was very popular when I was a child. However, because I was mostly a console gamer and not really a PC gamer at the time, I missed out on most, if not all of them. So I don't have a lot of experience with point-and-click games. This is actually the second one, or third one perhaps, I played after Brock the Investigator. But fam, this game right here has actually stolen my heart. I love the heart and soul of this game, and I'll get to why. So first off, the humor here is on point for me. Now, admittedly, humor is very much subjective. So what I find funny, you may not, and that's okay. Now, this game has some slight dark humor. Of course, we're dealing with death, so it's kind of to be expected here, and I do like dark humor. Also, there's a lot of pop cultural references here, and I'm a huge fan of that as well. So, for example, I grew up watching a lot of slasher movies. I think I started watching the Friday the 13th and the Chucky series when I was about 4 or 5 years old. So I grew up in that culture, and I do love the on-the-nose references and criticisms of it here. Another thing I really love here is the fact that they actually call the characters Jason. The killer's name is Jason, and the stoner dude, his name is Jay. As a huge Kevin Smith fan, that really does a lot for me. So I do love the physical comedy here. Now, Art, when he wears Death's cloak, he can't die, but he can be hurt, and that's exploited greatly for comedic purposes in the first portion of the game. I'll let you watch my favorite example of this. Now, in regards to the gameplay, essentially you're just pointing and clicking. You click the mouse to make Art move or to check something out. And if he can pick up something, if you click it, he'll pick it up. Now, what I like here is the animation. Every time he goes to pick something up, his eyes dart back and forth as if he's making sure nobody is watching him. And that's a nice little touch that I think adds a great deal of depth to his character. Now, most point-and-click games are puzzle games, and this is no exception. Now, some of the puzzles are quite easy to understand and to solve. However, there are some head scratchers here, and I do enjoy the challenge. Now, in regards to the design, I believe the design is well made. Yeah, I love the character design. I do love the voice acting as well. Now, The game doesn't have a lot of voice acting, but more may come later on. The game is still in development, and actually it has an ongoing Kickstarter. And if this game looks like something that interests you, by all means, please back this game. I do believe this is going to be something very special. So I really enjoyed this game, actually. And this game, it's probably no exaggeration, really reignited my passion for gaming. And also has got me interested, or more interested, in the point and click genre. And I look forward to exploring that genre more in the future. But please do yourself a favor, and I know I use that phrase a lot, but please check this game out. This game is a wonderful masterpiece, and I do believe it's something special. So please go to Steam, wishlist this game, back them on Kickstarter if you can, and please follow them on Twitter.
What is your problem, boy? I thought you were looking for a job.
Yeah, everything is fine. Maybe just this detail about killing people.
No. You've got it all wrong. Nobody is killed by death. Would you blame life for being alive?
Now the final game I want to talk about is Outer Space Shack by Open Low Code SAS. Now the Steam page reads, build and manage space outposts on the moon and Mars in this realistic simulation game. From the first step on the moon to Mars colonization, launch rockets, take care of your astronauts, and expand your base as you explore the cosmos. No grind, just pure management and exploration fun. Now, unlike the other games I've talked about here today, I actually have quite a bit of history with this one. This is one of those games that I've been following for quite a while. The developer is one of my regular indie dev friends that interacts with my Wishlist Wednesday, Screenshot Saturday, and Trailer Tuesday posts on a very regular basis. So I've seen this game in quite a lot of development. However, also the developer sent me a build of the game back in, I think maybe July, August, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I do have a lot of experience with this game. And they were also really cool about it because they included me in the game. I'll post a screenshot here. Now, what I like about this game is that, much like the description, there is no grinding here. It's pretty much a simulator. And I do enjoy that. But don't let your guard down just yet. Now, don't let that convince you that this is going to be a walk in the park. So your choices do have very real consequences in this game. So, on the one hand, you have to, make sure your astronauts are well taken care of. On the other hand, you're going to have to please your investors. You can secure funding and obtain more by successfully launching programs and missions. The more you complete, the more funding you will get later on. Also, you have to take into consideration the type of missions you're going to be doing too. And all of this adds a great deal of strategy to the game. Now, I don't think my description quite does it justice, because that does sound a bit dry, but you'll find a great deal of humor here. So the developer, he isn't just a game developer, he's actually somebody that works in the aerospace industry, or somebody who has a lot of experience there. And so you'll see a lot of jabs, a lot of in-jokes, and even some humorous criticisms of the industry there. So if you're interested in space exploration, or if you're somebody like me who always dreamed of being an astronaut, this game is a pretty interesting take on the strategizing and planning that goes on behind the scenes. So, if you're interested in this subject, I would highly recommend you try this game. Or even if you're interested in management games, this is a great game to play, and probably one of the more unique management games I've come across. So be sure to check out this demo, be sure to wishlist it, and to follow Outer Space Shack on Twitter. For some reason I almost said Facebook, I have no idea. But be sure to follow Outer Space Shack on Twitter.
Mission completed.
Great. You have completed your first mission successfully. The public was thrilled with the pictures, and you have confirmed that the moon is not made of cheese, which means that you can send more heavy spacecrafts there. You have also received $1 billion in public funding. Now, let's return to the Space Center. You can do that by clicking on the up arrow in the middle top menu or by pressing the space bar.
So all in all, I was well pleased with all the games I checked out at this most recent Steam Next Fest. Now I'm going to be real with you fam, I've been kind of sleeping on the Steam Next Fest for quite a while. The last one I seriously checked out was back in autumn of 2021. So I've learned my lesson. I'm going to start checking them out more and more as they come. So I'm going to leave the links below for all the games I talked about. Please, please, please give the developers a follow. Please wishlist their games. Following developers and wishlisting their games is a great way to support them. And if you're looking for something fun to play, be sure to check out the demos. All of these games should be coming out in 2023, so look out for their release as well. And if you follow me on Twitter, you're probably going to hear me talk about them more as they come close, or as we come close to their release date. So I'm going to end the video here. So thank you so much for checking this video out. Please like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you dislike it. Feel free to comment below and let me know what you think. And if you like my content, please subscribe and turn your notifications on. Until next time, fam, remember, just be yourself and you'll be awesome. Peace out!